countdown begins.
What a fight!
It's the latest chapter in the series that takes you beyond the ropes and behind the scenes.
You guys, the first guys we let in here.
We bring you the whole story from the training camps to the show before the show, with in-depth analysis and exclusive access to the current and future legends of the sport.
I'm the top drawer.
You want to talk your trash? We'll see.
Step inside as former undisputed middleweight champion Bernard Hopkins challenges one of the sport's pound-for-pound best, the relentless Winky Wright. Two world-class champs on a collision course. Countdown to Hopkins Wright, tonight at midnight.
And now, HBO Sports presents World Championship Boxing.
The following is a presentation of HBO Sports.
It's a welterweight extravaganza. 3 fights, 2 locations, 247-pound title belts on the line. Arturo Gatti is 35. For 16 years, he has treated boxing fans to one of sport's most compelling high-wire acts.
Can you believe Arturo Gatti?
Oh, what a drama! A boxing everyman who's captured the public's imagination with his courage. Look at Arturo firing that broken right hand. And his resiliency.
Arturo Gatti refusing to go down as Mickey Ward pounds away.
Tonight, boxing's drama king will need all that legendary resolve as he enters the ring having been knocked out in 2 of his last 3 fights.
Another big shot, and this time Arturo Gatti is ruined.
Can Gatti rise again versus Alfonso Gomez? Or is it finally time to cede the stage to the next generation? 147-pound titleist Antonio Margarito and undefeated challenger Paul Williams both hope to become stars for the present and the future. Both are among the division's elite. Both claim to be the most avoided man in the sport. Each has the opportunity for a star-making performance at the other's expense. Also looking to raise his profile tonight, power hitter Kermit Cintron, who puts his slice of the 147-pound title up for grabs against fellow knockout artist Walter Matisse. First up, from Atlantic City, it's Cintron and Matisse, followed by Arturo Gatti versus Alfonso Gomez. Then on to California for Margarito Williams. It's a coast-to-coast welterweight triple header on World Championship Boxing.
Welcome to a special edition of World Championship Boxing. Tonight we have a coast-to-coast triple header in the welterweight division, starting here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Kermit Cintron defends his title against Walter Matisse. Next up, Arturo Gatti returns after a 1-year layoff to face Alfonso Gomez. Then we'll send you to Carson, California, as Antonio Margarito puts his title on the line against Paul Williams in our main event. Welcome to the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I'm Bob Papa. So glad you can join us for this action-packed welterweight triple header. It's a great night of boxing for you here on HBO's World Championship Boxing. And welcome in HBO boxing analyst Max Kellerman. And Max, when you take a look at this triple header and the names that are involved in these 3 fights, it's action, action, and more action.
Yeah, and Arturo Gatti's been boxing's action hero over the last decade or more even by now, kind of like Bruce Willis in Die Hard. And in fact, I went to see Die Hard 4 this last week, middle of the week, late show. Place was packed. And you look around here, this place is going to be nearly packed, and everyone's out here to see Arturo Gatti. But you know, Bob, what I was thinking about by the end of Die Hard 4 was when's the next Jason Bourne movie going to be out? When's the Bourne, I think they're calling it the Bourne Ultimatum, going to be out? And the question I have tonight, because Arturo Gatti's the second fight in a triple header with all action fighters in what promise to be all action fights, the question is, as Jim mentioned, will Gatti be upstaged? Is he still relevant, or is the Arturo Gatti franchise finally at an end?
Well, we're going to find out tonight, and it's going to be very intriguing as this boardwalk hall continues to fill out. Well, Antonio Margarito and Paul Williams will be squaring off in Carson, California. We send it out to the Home Depot Center and welcome in Jim Lampley.
All right, thank you very much, Bob Papa. We expect great excitement here where everything figures for a terrific matchup between rising potential contender, unbeaten Paul Williams, and the man whom everybody seems to have wanted to avoid in the welterweight division these past few years, Antonio Margarito. Working with me, as always, here on the West Coast, HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. Larry, a welter of welterweights in action both here and in Atlantic City. What does it all mean to the division?
Well, it not only means something to the division, but it means something to boxing, because the biggest fights in boxing today probably can be made in the welterweight division. We know that Floyd Mayweather, despite saying that he is retired, just means waiting for the next opponent. There's been discussions about Ricky Hatton. Maybe, maybe not. Shane Mosley is the odd man in because he might wind up fighting Mayweather, or possibly Cotto if Margarito loses tonight. Margarito has a deal in place to face Cotto if he wins. If Williams wins, if Cintrone wins, maybe they'll unify their titles. Big stuff in the welterweight division. There's something else in the big picture, and that's the big picture you're looking at. We have 6 fighters who don't know how to play solitaire in the ring. These guys, Jim, are Texas Hold'em guys who push all their chips into the table.
Yeah, in the words of promoter Bob Arum, no businessmen tonight, just fighters. So it should be tremendous action here. We expect that you're going to see the same thing there on the East Coast. Let's get the fight started as we go back to Bob Papa.
All right, Jim, at the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We'll check in Carson, California throughout the course of the evening. We are set for our first bout of the evening. Welterweight showdown. Kermit Cintron taking on Walter Matisse. Interestingly enough, talking about Margarito and Williams in our Carson, California fight, is the fact that